ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। Did I give the meaning of the last shloka we covered?
Yes,
That's
Guruji.
where I...
Yes, yes.
Guruji.
Okay. So that atasmiMstadbuddhiH, I gave the meaning.
Yes, Guruji.
No, Guruji, 138, I think we had started.
We just started, we have not completed, Guruji.
No, we've not completed that one.
138.
No,
Atasmin
meaning not given.
You've given, Guruji, in this context, sense of I is anatma.
Complete meaning for
138.
Pranatma has
Yamlata ji is on the previous shloka.
I beg your pardon, Naranji, which one are you saying?
No, in this context is referring to the previous.
So we are at shloka number 138 in my book. atasmiMstadbuddhiH. And I've explained the shloka to you. The reason I picked up this shloka is because of what? This phrase atasmiMstadbuddhiH. Tasmin tad buddhi. Tasmin means in that. Tad buddhi means when you see an object, you recognize it exactly as it should be recognized. Okay. You don't look at a pen and say it is an elephant. That is called atasmin tad buddhiH. If you see the pen as a pen, then it's called tasmin tad buddhiH. Otherwise, it will be called atasmin tad buddhiH. So we saw that shloka last time, and he gave the example of bhujage rajjudhiSaNA, like opposite of the typical example that we see. We see the snake being projected on a rope. Here he talks about a rope being projected on a snake, thinking of a snake as a rope and saying, such a beautiful rope I've not seen anywhere. And thick on the one end and then slowly tapering into its thin rope. Arey wah, what kind of a rope is? Why would anybody just leave it like this here, like that? Okay, go ahead and mute yourself, please. And so Bhujage, and therefore he gives tataha anarthavrataha nipatati samAdAturadhikastato. The one who decides to pick up that beautiful rope. Okay, samAdAtuhu, one who decides to pick up that rope, that object, let's say, and then adhikaha anarthavrataha nipatati. Nipatati, that person is going to now become a victim of doom. Anarthavrataha, adhika anarthavrataha. Okay, so you understand all this. Yaha asadgrahaha sahi bhavati bandhaH. This is another example of bandhaH. So, what is the cause of bandha? I mean, what is bandha? Atasmin is bandha. Thinking of something as something else is called atasmiMstadbuddhiH. So let's translate the shloka. All right. One who is overpowered by ignorance mistakes a thing for what it is not. Mistakes a thing for what it is not. Next sentence. It is the absence of a discernment. Discernment. DISCERN. It is the absence of discernment. All books will say discrimination. We are just using a different word. Because the Swamis who wrote these things didn't realize the word discrimination, such a beautiful word they thought, and it will be considered a bad word. Like that, they never imagined. So we are now changing it. Okay. So it is the absence of discernment that causes one to make a mistake. Sorry, that causes one to mistake a snake for a rope. Full stop. Great dangers overtake him. Great dangers overtake him when he seizes it through that wrong notion.
Guruji,
When he seizes, seize, grabs. When he seizes it means you can write within brackets the snake or the rope, whichever. When he seizes it through that wrong notion. You can put the you can put the word wrong in brackets also, because notion itself means wrong. Okay, and purposely we are saying it just so we understand. Great dangers overtake him when he seizes it through that wrong notion. Full stop. Hence, listen, my friend. zruNu sakhe is there, not the end. Listen, my friend. It is the mistaking of, it is the mistaking of transitory things as real. Transitory things as real that constitutes bondage. Hence, listen, my friend, it is the mistaking of transitory things as real that constitutes bondage. Okay, let me read the whole thing now. The one who is overpowered by ignorance mistakes a thing for what it is not. Full stop. It is the absence of discernment that causes one to mistake a rope for a snake. Sorry, mistake a snake for a rope. Full stop. Great dangers overtake him when he seizes it through that wrong notion. Hence, listen, my friend, it is the mistaking of transitory things as real that constitutes bondage. Okay, let us chant some shlokas here. Okay, from number 38, Prakriti Vikriti Bhinnaha. Prakriti Vikriti Bhinna Shuddha Bodha Swabhavaha.
Guruji, my 138 is atasmiMstadbuddhiH prabhavati. So what should I go to?
137.
137?
Yeah, so 137 or
35 if you are 138.
6 or 5. Yeah, go back a few shlokas and see if you can find Prakriti Vikriti Bhinnaha.
Okay, got it. It's 135.
Prakriti
Prakriti
Vikriti
Vikriti Bhinnaha
Shuddha Bodha Swabhavaha.
Shuddha Bodha Swabhavaha
Sadasadidamashesham
Sadasadidamashesham
Bhasayan Nirvisheshaha
Bhasayan Nirvisheshaha
Vilasati Paramatma
Vilasati Paramatma
Jagradadishvavasthasu
Jagradadishvavasthasu
Ahamaham sakshat
Ahamiti Sakshat
Sakshi Rupena Buddhe.
Sakshi Rupena Buddhe.
Skip the next one and then look at Atra Anatmani. Atra Anatmani Ahamiti Matihi.
Atranatmanyahamiti Matihi
Bandha Yeshosya Pumsaha.
Bandha Eshosya Pumsaha
Prapto Jnanat Janana Marana.
Prapto Jnananjana Marana
Klesha Sampata Hetuhu.
Klesha Sampata Hetuhu
Ye Naivayam Vapuridamasat.
Yenaivayam Vapuridamasat
Satyamityatma Buddhya.
Satyamityatma Buddhya
Pushyatyukshatyavati Vishayaihi.
Pushyat Yukshatyavati Vishayaihi
Tantubih Koshakridvat.
Tantubhih Koshakridvat.
Next you have to go to akhanda. So skip the atasmin and then go to akhanda. akhANDanityAdvayabodhazaktyA.
akhanda
sphurantamAtmanamanantavaibhavam
sphurantamAtmanamanantavaibhavam
samAvRNotyAvRtizaktireSA
samAvRNotyAvRtizaktireSA
tamomayI rAhurivArkavimbam.
tamomayI rAhurivArkavimbam.
Yeah. So having looked at that previous shloka, atasmiMstadbuddhiH, and before that, atra anatmani ahamiti matihi, previous shloka. So that number 39, abridged 139, unabridged. So that was introduction to bandhaH. Atra anatmani ahamiti matihi bandhaH yeshaha asya pumsaha. BandhaH. BandhaH was stated as in anatma having the idea that it is atma. That's atasmiMstadbuddhiH. If I look at all the things I see, I know it's all anatma, not me, not me, not me, not me. So many things are not me's. In fact, there are a lot of not me's here. Many, many, many not me's. But only when it comes to my body, there is a universal mistake. And that is what? Taking that body to be atma, even though it is anatma. How do you know it is anatma? Body is anatma. Shankaracharya explained. First he talked about kaha asau anatma, stula shariram, sukshma shariram. What about mind? It's part of sukshma shariram. That also is anatma, he said. Karana shariram, even more subtle. That bijam, which is there which can be recognized, appreciated in deep sleep. That also is anatma. Even though it holds my entire karma is there in that. My past is there. The potential future is there in that karana shariram. That also is anatma. Correct? So, taking that anatma as atma is bandhaH. He said that in that shloka, past two shlokas. Now, Chandrasekhar Bharati Mahaswamiji introduces this shloka. He says, Idanim katamesha agataha. Katamesha agataha means you should not be looking at me like that. You should say, yeah, it is shloka number 25. Ko nama bandhaH katamesha agataha. Katam pratisthasya katam vivekaha. Katam pratisthasya katam vimokshaha. So, idanim katamesha agataha, don't write this down, ityasya prashnasya uttaram vaktum arabhate akhanda iti. He's saying, hey, idanim, now Acharya, Shankaracharya is beginning to answer the question katamesha agataha, which is the second question of the student from shloka number 25. Abridged or number 52, unabridged version. Arabhate akhanda iti, by these words, akhanda, like that. This typical standard way of writing a tika or a commentary. So the reason I don't have to pick up Chandrasekhar Mahaswamiji and then read all these things and all. I'm telling you because in addition for you to know what the meaning of the shlokas is, you have to know the tradition also. What is the tradition? Not everybody is interested in Sanskrit and all these words and this samasa, that samasa. No. So that's why I try not to overload you, but at the same time there are students in my class who are even teaching Sanskrit. So there's a spectrum here. That's why. So I hope everybody will get something out of these things. So having introduced the shloka like that, You have to look at this one word, samAvRNoti. First word in the second half of the shloka, there is a word called samAvRNoti. That you can underline. There is a verb, and then underline another word. The word next to it, AvRtti shakti. AvRtti shakti samAvRNoti. One noun is there, AvRtti shakti. samAvRNoti means covers. Avarna shakti covers. Covers what, if you ask me? Then I will say underline another word. This last word in the previous half is Anantavaibhavam. Before that, there is a word called Atmanam. SphurantamAtmanam Anantavaibhavam. Like that it says. That Atmanam you underline. So the main sentence you got it. AvRtti shaktihi Atmanam avrnoti. This avarana shakti of Maya covers Atma. That's the main sentence. Now we can slowly fill up the blanks. Okay. And so this kathamesha agataha. Bandha, you told me what it was. atasmiMstadbuddhiH is bandha. Taking an object to be what it is not is a cause of bandha. Or is bandha, not cause of bandha. Sorry, it is bandha, it is bondage. And there is a cause even for that. That is why this next sloka is coming. Okay. Or taking shariram itself directly as Atma is bondage. bandhaH, like that is said. Katham, because I should know why. Only when we research into a problem, we will understand really what the problem is, what are the factors that are causing it, which factors we may have some control over, and try to control those factors so that I don't have those symptoms. That is how research goes. That's how drugs are developed. That's how there is general well-being and so forth in the area of health and so forth. You know that. Same thing, same analysis is happening here also. And so he is now introducing this AvRtti shakti. Okay, next shloka is going to introduce the other shakti of Maya. Maya has two shaktis. Two shaktis. In Atmabodha, he says this. He says, Shakti dvayam hi mayayaha vikSepa rupini. Or rupakam, I think he says. Shakti dvayam hi mayayaha. It's Atmabodha number. Sorry, it is drishya viveka. drishya viveka is the text. Number 13. drishya viveka. Drik means the one who is observing. Drishya means the observed. So Viveka is of course discernment. Drishya Viveka. And there he says, Shakti dvayam hi mayayaha. Hey, Maya has two Shaktis, two powers. If you want to understand Maya, you should appreciate these two powers. And what are those two powers? vikSepa rupakam. vikSepa Shakti and Avarana Shakti. These two, if you understand, then you understood Maya. The working of Maya, at least. All right. So that the Avarana Shakti is being described here in this shloka. AvRtti Shakti, he calls it. And so that Avarana covers. There is a rope, but I am unable to see the rope as a rope. That inability is due to what? Because there is some cover. It's as though something is covering me. My buddhi is being covered. Something is covering me from seeing the rope exactly as a rope. That Shakti, that they have given a name for this Shakti. It's called Avarana Shakti. Avarana. Avarana means cover. And recently this great scholar, writer, poet, thinker, Bhairappa passed away. We saw it in our WhatsApp group. And he's from Karnataka. S.L. Bhairappa. And among the many books he wrote this book called Avaranam. Avarana. You can guess what it has, but it has nothing to do with Vedanta. This book, he says, we Indians have an avaranam. They have put an avaranam in front of our eyes, and they have just brainwashed us by telling us the history that really is not our history. Look at this. Okay. He knows Vedanta, obviously. Otherwise, he will not give a title like this. And he says we are a brainwashed republic. Okay. And unless that avaranam is removed, unless we embrace our past by telling our children the proper history, unless you tell them in fact says, all the temples that have been razed to the ground by the Mughals and all the conversion that has happened, he says all these things. How can their communities live in harmony in current society? That is the essence. And so he calls that book as Avaranam. That is by the way. Okay. And so here also, AvRtti Shakti, there is that cover. And after that, once that covering happens, then, but I still see an object. The object is not made invisible. No, object is very much visible. I can see an object. I can see an object which within brackets is a rope, but I don't see it as a rope. Now what happens? I can say I see something, but I don't know what it is. That also I can say. That's perfect. That's actually perfect. As until now, avaranam is there, but I have not made a mistake yet. But there is now a possibility. The possibility of mistaking that rope as something else. And that's where vikSepa Shakti. Our Shastram says that is vikSepa Shakti. Now I am projecting an object and taking it as though that new object that I am projecting is that object that is there on the floor, and that is called vikSepa Shakti. Shakti it is. Because projection, because I created something that doesn't exist. They give a name vikSepa Shakti. And so that avaranam comes from tamas. Going back to our own model, Trigunatmika, it comes from tamas. And the projection comes from rajoguna. Tamoguna is the cause for avaranam, and rajoguna, the guna that contributes to dynamism, activism, energy, movement, and so forth, makes me project. Helplessly, I project. Why helplessly? Well, it's very obvious. Why would anybody want to make a mistake? Purposely, nobody makes a mistake. And so, that vikSepa Shakti is waiting for Avarana Shakti to do its job first. First, Avarana Shakti does its job. And then vikSepa Shakti takes over. Swamiji says, Paramatmanandaji says, these two Shaktis conspire together to push the human being into the ditch called samsara, it seems. That is the statement he has written. So I thought I should share that with you. And then, of course, Sattva Guna is required to get me out of this ditch. Okay, that is understood. And so, AvRtti Shakti, Esha, look at that word, Esha, AvRtti Shakti, this Avarana Shakti, okay, this Avarana Shakti, samAvRNoti. samAvRNoti, Shankaracharya puts the word sam also. Sam means what? Perfectly covers. Perfectly. It's just making sure. It's not like when you sleep, you put on your blanket, and then when you close your head, then the leg is exposed, then you push the thing, and then the face is exposed. Then you wonder, what is this? This blanket is not long enough. What kind of thing I've done? I don't know how to purchase a proper blanket, because at the night only we will know the seriousness, the importance of a good blanket. And so, no, not like that. This half here, like that, nothing. Then it's completely covered. samAvRNoti. And Yesha, this Avarna Shakti completely covers. All right. Like in the night and deep sleep. Deep sleep. Avarana Shakti completely covers me. The Shakti. Even though we simply say I went to sleep, I had a good sleep and all. But the Avarana Shakti is covering me. Covering me. But no vikSepa possible, no projection possible. Because I'm asleep. All these, the mind is pretty much inactive. And so the mind has to be active, for projection. And so same thing happens in deep sleep. And because vikSepa Shakti is not operating in deep sleep, they say ignorance is bliss. This popular statement is there. Ignorance is bliss. And night time, ignorance is bliss. When you're awake, ignorance is bliss is not a correct statement. That means we all would choose to be ignorant. Nobody wants to know. You will be afraid of knowing. Why? If you know something, then it is not bliss. Why? Because ignorance is bliss. That means knowledge is opposite of bliss. So we shouldn't say that. So ignorance is not bliss. I wish I had known this. That means what? That means what? I wish I had known this means what? Why didn't you tell me this when you had this problem? Or this particular symptom, I wish I had known the cause of these symptoms. Yeah, if you went to the doctor and pursued it, you would have known it. So ignorance need not be bliss. So anyway, so samyak avrnoti. Okay, we have not talked about what is it the Avarana Shakti covers. You keep on saying it covers. What is it covers? Okay, that's what Atmanam Avranot. Samyak Avranot. It covers Atma. All right. And what kind of Atma it covers? That is the entire first half of the shloka. Akhanda, Nitya, Advaya, Bodha, Shaktya, Sphurantam Atmanam Anantavaibhavam. So Sphurantam, this Atma, which is Spurati, which is consciousness, awareness, it is always present, it is just throbbing, it is always there, making me aware of the entire universe. Okay, it is always there. Even in deep sleep, it is there. It is the only thing that does not sleep, giving me the capacity to say, I slept well. I did not know anything. To know that I did not know, awareness must be there. I did not know. Oh, really? It rained with thunder, lightning last night? Oh my, I did not know. Okay, to say I did not know, I must know that I did not know. That consciousness has to be there throughout. Spurantam. It is just there. Spurati, constantly there. And what kind of Atma it is? This what? Akhanda. Okay, Akhanda. This Atma which is indivisible, which has no Bheda in it at all. Okay, which has no Bheda. Indivisible, it's homogeneous. It has no in you one type of Atma, in me one type of Atma. No, it's not like that. Swagata Bheda Nasti, Vijatiya Bheda Nasti, and Sajatiya Bheda Nasti. It is not one among many similar Atmas. So many apples are there, all are apple only, same tree only gave. Okay, that is called Sajatiya Bheda. That kind of Bheda is not there in Atma. Vijatiya Bheda also is not there. Vijatiya Bheda. Fruit is one thing, and then pencil is one thing, and then book is different thing, different jatis altogether. So Vijatiya Bheda is not there, and Swagata Bheda is also not there. Like the body. Body is one entity, but really if you dig into it, there are so many parts, one after another, you keep on saying part. Each part, different department, different floor. Swagata Bheda. Not ordinary. It looks like one. I want to be in one piece, no doubt. But many departments are needed to keep me in one piece. Correct? That is called Swagata Bheda. It's all not there. So Akhanda, Khanda Rahitam. Swamiji says, Aparichinna. Parichinna means broken, divided, made distinct. So here Aparichinna, it is unbroken, indivisible. Akhanda Nitya. Nitya, what does Swamiji say? Chandrasekhara Mahaswamiji says, Utpanna Nasha Shunya. Utpanna Nasha Shunya. Utpanna Nasha Rahit. Bereft of birth and death. Once you say that, it means it is Nityam. Means Shadvikara Rahitaha. Nityam. Asti Jayate Vardate Viparinamate Apakshiyate Vinashyati. If you just pick the first and the last, it means you have included everything else in between. So, Utpatti Nasha Shunya. Utpatti Shunya means what? Utpatti Shunya means Ajaha. Ajaha. Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Purana. So, Ajaha. So, and then Nitya word is already there. Ajo Nityaha, Shashvataha, Puranaha, all mean the same thing. All right. That is that kind of Atma. It is Nityam and Advayam. Advayam. Non-dual. There are no multiple Atmas. It is only one. There's only one Atma. And in fact, there is only one Atma also is not a correct statement. There is only Atma. Correct? Or only you should add the ly, you should add after one. So only Atma is there. That is what is this Advayam. And so Ekameva Dvitiyam. That's why they say Ekameva Advitiyam. Ekameva, one only if you say, hey, there is only one galaxy called Milky Way. Only one in the universe. Only one. Suppose they say there is no living species anywhere else in the universe. Suppose. Then what? There is only one galaxy or one planet in this galaxy, in the entire universe, where there are living beings. Okay, one. One. But it is not Nityam, it is not Sarva Vyapi, it is one. It is one. Uniquely one. Finitely one. But this is infinitely one. Therefore, they say Advitiyam is important there. Okay. Advayam, Bodha, Shaktya. It is also of the nature of Bodha. Bodha here means Chaitanyam, consciousness. That Atma, which is nothing but consciousness. Okay. And Shastram technically will not say Atma is consciousness. Atma is the implied meaning of the word consciousness. You know why? You know why they say that? Lakshana. Because if I say consciousness and walk away, we will think consciousness is another object. Like every other word, we are objectifying it. And therefore, it's an object. So I have conceptualized consciousness. You cannot conceptualize. It is you. And therefore, when we say consciousness and move on, but it means the implied meaning of the word consciousness, which is me, the self. All right, that is by the way. So that kind of Atma, which is Spurantam, which has all these attributes, and which is always present. Spurantam, Swamiji says, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Ayam Atma Brahma. Which is unfolded by all these Mahavakyas. And it is there all over the Shastram. Okay, Spurantam that way also. Spurantam because it is there very much conscious. It is underlying everything also. Every object that I see also is Atma only finally. And so, Spurantam and revealed by all the Mahavakyas, also Spurantam, Ananta Vaibhavam. Ananta Vaibhavam. As Premaji said once, grandeur of Brahman. I'm reminded of that word, grandeur. So that kind of Vaibhavam, Vibhuhu, Vibhuhu means all pervasive. Vaibhavam, all pervasiveness. Vaibhavam. So when we use it for a word, for a person, Vaibhavam means that person's fame is there everywhere. Everybody who can't know Trump like that. So nobody can not know Trump because he's gifted with that. Okay, so that is called Vaibhavam, all pervasiveness. Ananta Vaibhavam. Ananta can refer to space being unlimited by space, not limited by space, means all pervasive. And even time-wise, it can Ananta. Means it always was there, it is there, it will be there. Okay, that is also Ananta. But here it does not mean that second time, it doesn't mean. Why? Because Nitya word already has come. Nitya refers to not limited by time. Therefore, leave the time part to Nitya and we will take the space part with Ananta. Okay, that kind of Atma, Sphurantam, Ananta Vaibhavam, Atmanam, samAvRNoti. See, Atma can't be covered. Can Atma be covered? See, if Atma is covered, you can imagine that which covers the Atma must be bigger than Atma also. To say Atma is covered, you have to ask, how can Atma be covered? You know, there is a beautiful shloka. Somewhere it comes, I forget where it is. Somebody is asking, hey, you people are fanatics. Jnanam, jnanam, jnanam. You're keeping on saying every class this is going on. Is there any way in which I can get moksha without knowledge? Is there any way? Yeah, he says there is one. If I remember the shloka, Yada charmavadakasham veshtayishyanti manavaha. Yeah, there is one way. One way. Yada, when. If you can roll the entire akasha, completely you roll it up and tell me here, like you roll your bed, like that you roll this thing. Yada charmavadakasham veshtayishyanti manavaha tada 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 devam avijnaya. Then devam avijnaya. Then without knowing Deva, who is Deva? Deva is Ishvara, Deva is Atma. Effulgent is Deva. That which shines is Deva. Okay. Then Devam avijnaya. Without knowing the self, without knowing Ishvara, then what can happen? Dukkasyanto bhavishyati. Dukkasya antah bhavishyati. You will be free of sorrow. So if you don't, this is the option, other option you have, it seems. This is how they are thinking. So, Atma cannot be covered. It is like asking, it is like saying, hey, is the pot not covering the clay? Pot is covering clay, correct? Be careful what you say. If you say pot is covering clay, then I will say, better go to the doctor and then tell him, my Guruji asked me to come to you. It seems there is a little bit of clay in my brain. Please remove that clay in the brain. Like that I will say. So, better not say pot covers clay. A pot cannot cover clay. Pot itself, whether it exists or not, we are beginning to question. Where is the question of pot covering clay? You can put a lid on top of this pot and say the lid is covering the pot. That we can accept. But pot cannot cover clay. Clay itself is giving existence to the pot. And clay says, okay, for a while you can enjoy the show. I'll watch. Everybody is saying, like in the concert, Everybody is saying, they're just crying as you sing, this rock shows and all that. Okay, you have fun. Okay, I'll be behind you, like that. So nobody can cover Atma. Okay, that is why Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamiji says beautifully, samAvRNoti, samAvRtaha, Atma is covered, and then he uses one more word, Ajnata Vastava Swarupaha. It means I have not recognized Atma. That is the meaning of covering. It prevents me from appreciating Atma. That's all. He just said, don't think it is literal covering and all that. That is what he's saying. Bhavati iti bhavaha, like that he says. Okay. And one more word is there here. And that word is, what kind of Shakti it is? tamomayI. tamomayI, AvRtti shakti. tamomayI. tamomayI means tamah prachura. Swamiji says tamah prachura. Means saturated with tamas. Maya. Like we say jalamayam and all that. Floods are there. Means water everywhere. So tamomayI here. This avarana shakti is primarily tamoguna. Okay. Like that.
Could you kindly
Chakracharya.
repeat that? Ajnata bhavati.
Ajnata, let me do this. Ajnata vastava swarupaha. Ajnata vastava swarupaha. In our language we say vastavam, Vastavatala and all we say. Means vastutaha, in reality. That is the meaning of vastava. Vastava swarupaha. That swarupa of the vastu, the real nature of Atma, what happened to that? Ajnata. Ajnata remains unknown. Remains unknown. Ajnata. That is called Ajnata Vastava Swarupaha. That's the name he gives to Atma. Ajnata Vastava Swarupaha. Atma is that whose real nature remains unknown. That's the meaning. So therefore, samAvRNoti, within brackets, you have to say Iva. Iva means as though covered. Atma can't be covered, but it appears. You can almost get away by saying it is covered. Atma is covered. But you know very well, it can't be covered. And so it's covered. So once Atma is covered, now nobody knows Atma. Everybody is born, blissfully born, playing around, just enjoying life. And then some people say, I'm now studying philosophy also. The guy who doesn't know the self is studying philosophy, has become a philosopher also. Okay, look at that. Okay, no Atma anywhere in the picture. Okay, a lot of ideas are there. Okay, Vishtadvaiti is there, comes up, Advaiti comes up, Dvaiti comes up, Sankhya comes up suddenly, okay, and Vaisheshika comes up, Nyaya person comes up. Meanwhile, Ashtanga Yogi is there and he comes up also. And so now what you can say, you shouldn't ask what is your philosophy. You should ask what is your mistake. My mistake is Advaita Vedanta. What is your mistake? Because nobody knows Atma. All these unknown people are coming and talking, describing the elephant. And one person says the elephant is like a rope. Another person says the elephant is like a pillar. Another person says the elephant is like a boulder. Another person says like this, it's like a hair, like that. Hair means what? This one, HAIR. And so this is how everybody, all philosophies are like this. Swamiji said once in a class, don't ask what is your philosophy and all. You should ask what is your mistake. Like that. So that is what it is. Everybody makes a different type of mistake. Finally. And that is why samAvRNoti, samyak avrunoti, perfectly covered. Now the game is on. And then tamomayI, I hope I've covered all the words. Yeah. Then rAhurivArkavimbam is the last segment there. Iva. Example is being given. Like, Iva means like. Like. All right. Now he is bringing the word Rahu. Jyotisham steps in. He's giving an example. This is very common in our culture. This eclipse, solar and lunar eclipses, very important period for us Vedika people. So the moon comes right in between earth and sun. And in daytime, suddenly it becomes dark. At 3 o'clock, recently it happened, 4 o'clock in the evening, it becomes dark. Not pitch dark, but dark. It can't be pitch dark because of the atmosphere, because there is a lot of, what do you call this? Dispersion of light and all. There are some words. So the particles in the atmosphere, they absorb light and then reflect the light and all that. It's all that. So that eclipse, okay, solar eclipse, we simply say the moon is there in between. But then our Shastram is a genius. What they said, that power, that they assign that power not to the moon, not to the moon, assign it to another planet, a non-existent planet. Okay, it is called Rahu and Ketu. We need two planets for it. There's a story about somebody who was beheaded and so forth, and so one is Rahu, another is Ketu. Okay, now this Rahu and Ketu are the forces which create eclipses. And so now you can worship Rahu and Ketu. Because moon is another planet, anyway I'm worshipping moon also. For my mental well-being, moon Soma is to be worshipped. And so, but Rahu and Ketu are those forces which create these eclipses. And therefore, he's saying, Rahuhu iva arkabimbam. Yatha Rahuhu arkabimbam samAvRNoti. Just like Rahu covers up arkabimbam, the disk of the sun, solar disk, arkabimbam. Circle, that circle that you see, it is a circle, no? So they call it arkabimbam. Arka, they could have said Arka also. Surya, Aditya, Bhaskara, Pusha, Pushan. So, Pushan is covered, sun is covered, Bhaskara is covered. So, just like Rahu covers sun, can Rahu really cover sun? Can anybody cover the sun? All you have to do is go to Google and say, show me the planets, the sizes of the planets in relation to the sun. And you'll be shocked. You know why you'll be shocked? Because you can't even see Earth. A small ball. It's all balls. It's a small thing. Moon, forget it. And then Earth, somewhere you can see. Jupiter is this, you can see. Saturn also you can see. Other planets are all dwarfed in front of the sun. And moon is supposed to cover the sun. Look at this beauty, right? Beautiful. Moon is a speck in this chart, okay? Moon is a small dot you can't even see with the eye. And moon is covering the sun. Acha. Not bad. Moon is getting its share of fame. All right. And so, Rahu grasta divakarendu sadrusho maya samachadanat. Dakshinamurti Stotram. Shankara is not leaving this example. Rahu grasta. Dakshinamurti Stotram. Vibhaya Nadira. Okay, sixth shloka. I have a mnemonic which may help me memorize Dakshinamurti Stotram. So it comes in the sixth shloka. So, Rahu grasta divakarendu sadrishaha. Just like this Rahu has come and created this phenomenon, like that he begins explaining that thing in that shloka, sixth shloka. So, that is how this is the previously he told what bondage is. atasmiMstadbuddhiH is bondage. Now he is saying what is causing this bondage. This phenomenon he is describing of AvRtti, avarana shakti. Now the problem is not yet described. That is going to come in the next sloka because avarana shakti is to be followed by vikSepa shakti. Okay. So half of the Maya shakti we have seen here. And rAhurivArkavimbam. And of course, it is anadi. When did Avana Shakti kick in, if you ask? This has kicked in long ago. How long ago? Very, very long ago. And if we are used to doing all these karmas and all, in the sankalpa, annual sankalpa, you will find it. And some of us who are doing this Avaniyavattam and all, carefully, if you don't, you ask your Ritvik, tell me, my Guruji told me this sankalpa is very important. You should understand the sankalpa. Can you explain what the sankalpa is? Then mamopata, samasta, duritakshayadvara and all usual things happen. Then anadi avidya vasanaya. My God, sankalpa has, I've been saying it year after year. We all have been saying it. We don't know. Anadi avidya vasanaya. Okay. Asmin pravartamane samsara chakre. Okay, what happened? Asmin pravartama. This samsara chakra, it seems, and pravartamani means that has been going on. It is very much there. Okay, and then vichitrasu karma gatibihi. All this some vichitra karma, some karma I've done, it seems, which has kenapi punya visheshena karmana asmin manushya janmani. This manushya janma I got. Why? Because of some punya vishesha. Somewhere I must have helped somebody crossing the road or something I must have done, and because of which the Bhagavan decided, my God, this is a huge act. Most people are not doing it. Yesterday, somewhere I saw a video. This is a small plane. One of those private planes are there. Some 15 seaters or 10 seaters. And this air hostess is asking, sir, here's a man sitting behind who's hungry but does not have the money to pay for the meals, in-flight meals. I don't know how a person can sit in a flight and then say, I don't have money to pay for the meals. Don't ask me all those questions. This is the video. And then this lady says, no, can you please offer some dollars for this? She says no. Then another person says no. Then this guy is there and she looks at him and says, I know what it is to be hungry. And then, yeah, don't worry, here is my credit card and you can swipe it. She swipes it and gives it back to him. And then the man from the behind says, sir, thank you very much for doing this. I can't forget this favor you have done. It's okay, he says. Then after the flight is over, people have got off and there's one person standing near the door. Everybody's walking out. And then he says, stop. Sir, what made you do this? Why did you help me? And then he says, no, etc. Some discussion. And then he says, you know who I am? I am the owner of this company that runs this flight. Okay. And so I just wanted to test this out. Real story or not, I don't know. But I wanted to test. And so I'm so happy that there are people like you. And so look behind you. And so there is some $35,000 check, it seems. And so there is some conversation like that. So like that, some punya karma we would have done, it seems. And because of which we got this manushya janma. And like that, it says, so anadi. All this is happening anadi kalat. Okay. And so because of which, what happens? This akhanda Atma is there, but I take myself to be Khanda Atma. What else he says? Akhanda, what Nitya, I think, next. Then Nitya. Even though my name is Nitya, I take myself to be Anitya. Okay. Advaya, even though I am all pervasive, I am everywhere. I am, of course, finite. I take myself to be finite. This is the universal mistake that is made. So, Akhanda becomes Khanda, Khandatma. and Anityatma and Dvayatma. All these things happen because of this Avarana Shakti. All right. Let's look at the meaning of the shloka.
Guruji, uh, Guruji, had said that shloka yada charmavad akasham veshtayishyanti manavaha. It is from Shvetashvatara Upanishad 620.
Shweta, okay. Shvetashvatara, write that down, guys. Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Number is
620. Sixth chapter, 20th
620. 620. Good. Yada charmavadakasham veshtayishyanti manavaha tada devamavijnaya dukkhasyanto bhavishyati. I just can't forget this. What an example they gave. So we can have Ramuji post that on the WhatsApp group. Okay.
In fact, right now,
Let's.
I am correcting Shvetashvatara Upanishad transcription of Swamiji. It's just
Okay.
I'm doing it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ramuji. This Maya's power of concealing, this Maya's power of concealing this Maya's power of concealing, which consists predominantly of tamas. Which consists predominantly of tamas, covers this Atma, that is shining with the power of, the indivisible non-dual awareness. The indivisible non-dual awareness okay, indivisible non-dual awareness without a beginning and end, comma, just as Rahu covers the disk of the sun. Just as Rahu covers the disk of the sun. This Maya's power of concealing, which consists predominantly of tamas, covers this Atma that is shining with the power of the indivisible non-dual awareness without beginning and end, just as Rahu covers the disk of the sun. Okay. Next shloka. Tiro bhute swatmani
Tiro bhute swatmani
amaltara tejovati puman
amalatarate jovati puman
anatmanam mohat
anatmanam mohat
ahamiti shariram kalayati.
ahamiti shariram kalayati.
Tatah kama krodha prabhritibihi
ततः कामः क्रोधः प्रभृतिभिः
amum bandhana gunaihi
अमुं बन्धनगुणैः
param vikshepakya
परं विक्षेपाख्या
rajasa urushaktir vyathayati.
रजस उरुशक्तिर्व्यतयति.
Yeah. So, vikshepakya, you saw that word. So that is, he is now introducing the vikshepa shakti of Maya. Okay, so look at the first half. Ends with the word kalayati. That is the verb. Kalayati. Two sentences you can say. First sentence ends with kalayati. Aham iti shariram kalayati. You can underline that. Second sentence would be again the last two words of the shloka. Uru shaktihi vyathayati. Uru shaktihi vyathayati. All right. Tirobhute swatmani amalatara tejovati. It's now saying once this Atma, the way to understand this, Sati Saptami, Sanskrit students. So once this Swatma Atma, which is Amalatara Tejovan, Amalatara Tejovan, hey, this Atma is Amala. Amala means free of any impurity. Amalataravan and Tejovan. Tejavan, just effulgent, spurati. It is Chaitanyam. Chaitanyam is the only thing that is self-existent, is always shining. And that kind of Atma, Tirobhute Sati. Tirobhute means covered. Tirob, this is a pretty unique word in Sanskrit. Tirobhutaha means covered, concealed, hidden. Okay. When such a thing happens, as described in the previous shloka, okay, after that happens, then this Puman also you can underline. Puman is the subject. Puman means Purushaha, Jivaha. This Jiva does something. Kalayati. Kalayati. He does this, Kalayati. And what is Kalayati? What is Swamiji saying? Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamiji says, Kalayati. Yeah. Janati abhimanyate. Thinks. Bhavayati. Thinks. This person thinks. Thinks. Okay. Thinks what? What does he think? He thinks. Anatmanam ahamiti shariram kalayati. Shariram kalayati. Thinks aham iti shariram. This I is nothing but the body. Aham iti shariram kalayati. Aham iti. Not knowing the true self, that person is now forced to decide who I am. Okay, there is no choice. Once you see an object, either you can say, I don't know what it is, or you will be forced to make a mistake. One of the two options only are there. Because you don't know, and there is no chance of knowing it. Let's say that is a particular situation. You have to make a mistake. So, if I show you an object like this, since we've seen objects, we can guess what it is. But if you don't know what it is it your coffee mug? You can say. Because only people who've gone to US will drink like this. In India and all, this is not acceptable. All these funny mugs and you're licking and sipping all day long and all that. This kind of a habit we don't have in India. It's all American idea. Keep on walking with a coffee mug. I also got used to it. I'm not doing it that much these days. I don't have that kind of mug also. My life has been relegated to tumblers now. Okay. And so, but I used to carry a coffee mug, which used to be big. So wherever meeting room, this coffee mug will be there. Go somewhere else, coffee mug will be there. Only place we don't take it is in the restroom. Otherwise, it is there everywhere, this coffee mug. Everybody's carrying this thing. And so what I was going to say is that, either you say, I don't know, or you'll be forced to make a mistake. That's all. That is the only two options available. Or you can wait. You can wait. I'll wait until I figure out what it is. That I don't know what it is fine. It is not, it's not a problem. It's not a mistake. But in this case, a mistake is made. It's a universal mistake. We don't get up in the morning and say, you know what? I don't know who I am. What am I? So is anybody, can you help me? Help me who understand who I am? We don't have this kind of conversation. So that doesn't happen. So tiro bhute sati ahamiti shariram kalayati. He creates a new self called shariram that did not exist before. And that idea was not there, but is unique to this person. So ahamiti shariram kalayati. Puman, that jivaha does that. Okay. Anatmanam. What is the problem? Why do you say it's a mistake? Because Sharira is not Atma. It is Anatma. Anatmanam Shariram Kalayati. Anatmanam. Swamiji, what word he uses for Anatmanam? Atma Bhinnam. Look at that. Atma Bhinnam. Atma Bhinnam Atma iti Kalayati. That which is not Atma, I take it as Atma. It's a big mistake. Huge mistake it is. Disastrous mistake it is. And so that is what has happened. And he's going to continue. And he's going to say mohat, due to ignorance, obviously, etc. So we're going to see this shloka in the next class. And this explains what we said, vikSepa shakti. The projection is happening now. And that will complete the description of Kathamesha agataha. Katham this, how did this bandha come about was the student's question. That's what we are talking. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om